Well, it's been a minute since we've done something fun in the garage, and today I wanted to give the Hornet some love. Back in the day, I installed a dashboard companion that has Android Auto as well as a whole bunch of other cool stuff. It was a really cool piece of technology that I put on my old CBR because, I mean, let's be honest, a mid-2000s dashboard doesn't look all that great by modern standards. However, the one common thread between all of the comments was that that product was simply too expensive. So today, I've got another one that is less than half the price, but still has all the same features. So let's dive on in. Ever since I did that first video, I've been keeping my ear to the ground on these kind of pieces of technology because I think they're really cool and an easy way to update an older motorcycle, or maybe a modern one that doesn't have all like the cell phone connectivity that you might want. And I've been kind of leery of some of the cheaper options because sometimes you really do get what you pay for. But then I saw these over on Lamb Chop Ride's channel. He installed this on his touring Jixis 1000, I forget whatever it's called, but he installed this and it seemed like a nice solid piece of kit. So I reached out to these guys and they sent me not only their C6 Pro here, which is got this really nice big dashboard, but they sent me a C3. And the main difference between these two is that the C6 here has all sorts of dash cam and GPS goodies, whereas the C3 is a much more basic, just Android Auto setup, which can actually be really nice if you just want to do the Android Auto thing and you don't care about dash cams. Oh, but leave it to me to forget the coolest part about all this. If you want to check one of these out for yourself, you can click that link down in the description below and use the code SPITE for 22% off the entire store, which means you're getting almost $50 off their C6 Pro and you're getting a little bit more than $25 off of the C3, or 22% off anything else in the store. So click that link down in the description. Now let's get wrenching. Now, a lot of folks might look at the dashboard on the 919 and be like, well, why do you need to put something else on there? It already looks great. And it does, but I am interested to see just, you know, what it looks like with something else on there. And the nice thing about this setup is it seems really easy to swap between one bike to another. These wires are super easy to get to, especially on a naked bike like this. I did find this, which is one of my camera mounts, which is gonna get me a lot closer to center. It's about an inch longer, so I'm gonna see how this one fits. Now, admittedly, I did lose the security Torx off of this guy, and I have a thumb screw that people could use to grab this off of there, but I've got a garage, so I'm not super worried about it. And it's adjustable more easily this way. Now, for the wiring, I reckon probably just send everything down through here. There go my ego. Come on. There we go. Oh, that was a short. No touchy. There we go. In you go. Let's run the power cable up through here, and then I bet you it goes to the one that says power. Yeah, it did automatically pop on. Interesting. So despite the fact that it is currently on, that's a nice looking dash. Luckily, I have a whole bunch of these Quad Lock Smart adapters, so we're gonna install this one on there and see that it turns off, because it should. You know, I've worked on a lot of different motorcycles, and yet the hardest thing to do on a motorcycle is to thread up the f***ing battery terminals. Show me somebody who can do this on the first time without dropping anything, and I'll show you a liar. All right, I've got the dashboard wired up to the controller, so if I switch the controller to on, wait for it, ta-da, and then off, and then now we're on auto. shouldn't come on. But then, let's hope I haven't been draining the battery down from messing around with it. There it goes. Ta-da! It works. So I wanted someplace inconspicuous to hang the camera up front. And I think I found one hanging right off of my right signal here. So I've got all this bundle of wire going back here to the tail of the bike, and then under the license plate light, that is where I've got the rear camera. So everything's set up. Now I did all this the quad lock way just because I wanted to test it out, but because I'm going to make this a permanent fixture on the motorcycle, what I'm actually going to do is I'm taking the terminals off the power box and I'm actually going to run it into the license plate light circuit, which is a 12 volt super simple either on or off circuit. So there's no way for it to draw when the ignition is off. I mean, it's not doing that now, but I prefer the foolproof solution of going into the license plate light. It just makes me feel a little bit better. So even though the problem is solved, I'm going to unsolve it temporarily so that I can solve it permanently. That was a really good join. Let's do it again. I haven't made a join like that in a hot minute. Feel proud of that one. That is not going nowhere. Nice. 2 for 2, baby. And I'm out of practice. If I did this right, it should automatically pop right on. On. Keep booting. Do-do-do-do-doot. And then turns right off. Ta-da! We're done. After I put the wires where they're supposed to go. Alrighty folks, I have everything paired up now and I've got the Aoocci dashboard, the C6 on the bike, and I tied it directly into the license plate light circuit. That is my favorite circuit to tie any powered accessory, any 12 volt accessory into, because it is brain dead simple. You cannot mess it up. It's 2 pins and you could even get it backwards and it works fine. I do like the quad lock route. That thing was actually kind of fun using the USB off of the smart adapter. That was an interesting way to go. There's just a lot more cordage under there now with the result of that. So that's why I tied it directly to the license plate light. It's just a little bit of a cleaner install. And in terms of difficulty, this was like a 2 out of 10, 3 or 4 out of 10 if you decide to solder it. And if you're interested in picking one of these up, I've mentioned it before, but you can get 22% off by clicking that link down in the description below. That is a solid deal on one of these. And just having it on the bike right now, it is a solid piece of kit. It doesn't feel cheap in your hands. The C3, it definitely feels a little bit more budget, but it is half the price. So I'm fine with that. And with all that being said, let's head out of the road and see how it works. Alrighty, well, we're out here, and I just figured I'd give you a quick little walkthrough on the dashboard. So I'm currently in the CarPlay mode. This is where you can see maps and stuff. I'm not going to show you the map because, you know, privacy and stuff. But anywho, we want to go back to the main screen. Click there, go home. And this is where you can see all of the stuff. So we go to my tire tracking. Sometimes the tire tracking, you have to like reset it. You just do the bind thing, and then what you do is you want to unscrew them and then screw them on. It's usually pretty quick, but since we're rolling, I'm not going to deal with it. One of the big things that you get with this one, and one of the main reasons why I like these, is because you get the dash cam action going on, right? So you can see it's recording everything that's happening in front and in back. And they are kind of at angles, because when I was setting them up, it was like that. So that one, the rear facing camera is at the right angle. This one, I've got no excuse for that guy. But you can see we've got the GPS, so it sees my height above sea level, and it's got my degrees, my direction. Although, that direction is incorrect. I'm currently facing south. Probably once I start moving, it'll figure itself out. Yeah. As soon as you start moving, it's like, oh, I know where I'm going. And it's tracking speed. Currently, it's in kilometers an hour because I haven't gone in and set it. But, yeah, it's nice to see that this whole thing it's really plug and play. It's so nice to just not really have to mess around with stuff. You just get it going and it's done. And for anybody who's wondering if those tire pressure sensors are throwing off like my wheel balance, no. Mostly because I use Dynabeads. I use Dynabeads in my tires, so the balance is instant. But even if I didn't, it's not enough weight to really throw off the balance of your wheel. Now, originally, I wasn't sure if I was going to love the mounting style for all of the stuff that's on here, like the screen's mounting style with the RAM mount, just like this. I wasn't sold on it right out of the gate, and I am still using one of these instead of the stock one that it comes with, because it's got a quick adjustment knob right there instead of having to use a tool. And I get to move it exactly where I need it, and I have it set in such a way that not only do I see my entire clock set up, I can see the whole speed, or well, I can't see the speedo because this thing's in the way, but I can see the tachometer all the way through. I can see both of my left and right indicators. I can touch my reset button, and I can see everything down the center. I can even reach the key really easily. And all I did was I just set it in the middle, and then I pulled it back ever so slightly. So it's not really in my field of view unless I go looking for it. One of the things that's cool about one of these older bikes is these clocks look good, and I didn't want to cover them up. Some of the other ones that are more or less hard mounted, you know, they use like a stem mount or something like that, they're a lot less adjustable. In this setup, you can get it exactly where you need it for your bike. For those of you who are probably going to ask this, yes, the recording auto loops. It loops at about 5-minute increments. You can set the increments yourself. I have it for 5 minutes so that I can run clips a little bit longer, and this is what the clips look like straight out of the camera. Are they GoPro or Osmo level quality? No, they were never going to be, though. They are 1080p, which is enough for you to see a license plate. If I get closer to this truck here, you'll be able to make out a plate, especially as he gets even closer, you know. Now you can, when you're recording video on this, if I pull the video back up, you can record audio. Are you going to get great audio out of this? No. I'm sorry, you're simply not. If you're at idle, maybe you're going to get something. You'll be able to rev the bike and hear it. But once you start moving, it's just going to be a wall of sound. The audio setup here, it's not designed to capture vlog audio. You know what I mean? So wanting it to do that is a little silly. Now, one thing that is cool on this dashboard, there's a little door right here on the bottom, and you can undo that, and it's got two plastic or rubber covers. One is for the SD card, and the other is for a USB-C port. So what you could do is you could run power to this thing, you know, have your quad lock phone mount over here,
and then run a USB-C cable from this up into your phone and charge your phone while you're riding, or whatever your USB-C device is. A lot of times I will ride and charge my Cardos at the same time. You can do that right off of here, which that's a neat feature. Now, if it was me, if I was using this as a track bike, that's when I would keep the dash cameras, because I like being able to have the cameras front and back on racetracks, because I can't usually have this camera going. They don't want anything on your helmet, so being able to have forward and rear facing cameras just capturing your sessions as you go, that's nice. But for a street bike, do I particularly need dash cams? No. If I was commuting all the time and I was more prone to getting into a traffic accident, you know, getting hit from the rear or whatever, then yes, I would absolutely want one. It's always nice to have a piece of tech looking out for you. But for my use case, honestly, I just like the dashboard. So I think what would be really cool is to have the C6 size dash, but have it only have the power wire off of it. That is functionally what the C3 is. The C3 is basically just this, but with no dash cams. It does have a few less features, though, which is kind of a bummer. It doesn't have the GPS on it, and it is a slightly cheaper unit. You can feel that between the two, it's a more budget piece of kit, and it's smaller. I like this screen a lot, so for me, I'd rather be able to essentially dial the C6 to my use case. Like, I'd like to have it a la carte. I want the handlebar mounting thing. I want the C6 dashboard. I want maybe the controller for my left hand if I wanted that, or I want the dash cams if I want those, or I want the tire pressure monitors if I want those. That would be really cool, being able to buy it a la carte. And then the only other thing that I'd really like to see, and no company has done this to my knowledge, I'd really like to see this be hot swappable from bike to bike. Like, if you've got the harness installed on multiple motorcycles, make it so that I can just plug it into the back and I can swap this from bike to bike. So Aoocci, if you're listening, which I imagine you are, that would be really awesome if you could incorporate that into the design. But then again, if you've got multiple motorcycles, these are cheap enough that you can just get another one. Woo! This road is so bumpy. But with that, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. I'm going to give the Aoocci here a solid thumbs up. I'm surprised what you could get for as cheap as this is. And if you are interested in picking one of these up, click that link down in the description below and you will get 22% off. That is a deep discount on one of those, and you'll be helping the channel out at the same time. And with that, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.